I think he actually took this fight for the naysayers and all this and all the people talking shit about the fight. I think he actually took the fight because he know that I'm a dog, and he want to prove his skills against the dog.
Frank Martin has stayed out of the spotlight ever since Gervonta "Tank" Davis knocked him out in June. That brutal knockout was replayed on sports highlights for weeks.
Cardi, sleep!
Frank Martin admits that hearing about Tank's power is one thing, but experiencing it firsthand is a whole different reality, especially when you're flat on your back, wondering what just happened. After months of staying quiet, Martin has finally spoken up about Lamont Roach Jr.'s chances against the same man who handed him that devastating defeat.
Ninth round.
What?
I say ninth round.
You said 9?
Yeah.
What's your response to that, Lamont?
Look, he got scared. Look. He looked at knife.
I'm telling him, you saying you going down in a 9?
Martin didn't hold back. I think it's a good fight, man, but I see Tank winning. You don't really understand his power until you're in there with him. And I don't think Lamont Roach has ever faced someone like Tank. His words weren't meant as trash talk or disrespect, just the truth from someone who knows firsthand. You can hear the experience in his voice. He's felt that power, learned the hard way, and understands that Tank isn't just another hard hitter. He's something different, something dangerous.
Family's from DC, my whole family, like my entire family.
Don't bring them. Don't bring them.
For what?
Don't bring them. I'm telling you.
They gonna celebrate with me. Yeah.
Don't bring them.
Lamont Roach Jr. isn't buying into any of that talk. The confident challenger refuses to see himself as another Frank Martin. In fact, he wasted no time making it clear that Martin's fate was about Martin, not a preview of his own. Respectfully, I'm not Frank Martin, Roach said in a recent interview with Cigar Talk. Frank Martin started boxing when he was, 15? For the record, Martin actually started at 17, but Roach wasn't concerned with small details. Frank Martin didn't get the experience that he needed, as everybody could see. It's not like I'm just talking trash or nothing like that. He just didn't have the experience to be in there with someone as skilled or as experienced as Tank.
Tank Davis, what do you need to do together with you and your team and obviously your son to score that victory?
We got a game plan. We're going to execute it, and we're going to get the results.
Move that head, bob and weave, bob and weave.
If there's one thing Roach made clear, it's that experience matters, and he firmly believes he's on Tank's level, not beneath him. I have the same skill level as Tank. I have the same experience. I have the reflexes, the ability, and without a doubt, the IQ, Roach stated. So what makes people think I'm going to end up like those guys who lacked experience and skill? It's a bold claim, no question. But is it just talk? Because stepping into the ring with Gervonta Davis is a nightmare most don't escape unscathed. Tank's record says it all, 30 wins, 28 by knockout. Plenty of fighters have entered that ring full of confidence, only to leave dazed, broken, or worse, carried out.
Being something that he's not been in the ring with. I'm the total package, and honestly, sometimes I think he doubts himself. But I'm a competitor, and I feel like I'm the best. So I'm assured.
When he talks about you not bringing your family.
The last fighter to go a full 12 rounds with Gervonta Davis was Isaac "Pitbull" Cruz in 2021, and even then, Tank fought with an injured hand. Before that, you'd have to go all the way back to 2014, when he was just 9 fights into his career. That's how dangerous his power is. Fighters don't just lose to Tank, they crumble. But Roach isn't worried. In his mind, his chin is built for this. I've been hit on my jaw a couple of times, and nobody's ever dropped me, Roach said. Nobody's ever seen me hurt in a fight. Even Roach's closest call, a counter right hook from Jamal Herring in their 2019 fight that sent him to the canvas, was never officially ruled a knockdown. And he didn't hesitate to explain why. The ref saw my foot came up and I tripped. That's why he didn't call it a knockdown, Roach said. He's as confident as any fighter can be before stepping into the danger zone that is Gervonta Davis. But even with all that self-belief, Roach isn't ignoring what Tank brings to the table.
Thank you guys.
Yes.
No, take a video.
The ones that I do know, I'll try to exploit, Roach admitted. It's not going to be easy. We all know that. He's a hell of a fighter. And there it is, a glimpse of reality breaking through Roach's confidence. He understands the challenge ahead. Davis doesn't just test your chin, he tests your will. Fighters speak about Tank's power like it's something out of a legend, something you don't truly believe in until you experience it firsthand. Frank Martin felt it, and his night was over. Mario Barrios felt it, and Leo Santa Cruz, who dared to trade punches, learned the hard way when a single uppercut shut off his lights.
Why was it so easy when he fought Frank Martin?
Frank Martin was inexperienced and nervous. You know, it is what it is. It's going to be a different fight when I'm in there. He's going to be a different fighter when he's fighting me.
Hey, what's you on the gun for?
Whoop his ass. I'm always looking for a knockout. No matter what, I'm always prepared for 12 rounds. But I'm always looking for a knockout. And if
What Roach is promising, or at least hoping, is that he's built differently. That his skills, IQ, and experience will keep him from becoming just another name on Tank's growing highlight reel. He insists his reflexes and durability will set him apart. He won't be outgunned. He won't be overwhelmed. But there's a reason Martin said what he said. Because when Tank's power lands, when his timing and precision come together, everything else fades. Game plans fall apart. Chins shatter. It's not just about surviving Tank. It's about finding a way to beat him. And so far, no one has figured that out. Lamont Roach believes he has the tools. He trusts his chin. He trusts his experience. But soon, he'll find out if that's enough.
I know son, his father was up here shaking on the what's the name? He was shaking on the
Thank everybody that played a part in it. My team, Roberto Diaz, Gary Jonas.
on my kids, he was shaking on this time. On my kids, he was shaking. How you gonna say it's cap? And it gotta be. You gonna say it's cap? I'm watching it. Gotta be.
But believing something and facing reality are two very different things, especially when Tank is standing in front of you, fists loaded and ready to explode. Shawn Porter recently shared his thoughts on the fight, and he sees more than just a routine title defense or a big opportunity. To him, this matchup is layered with history, familiarity, and real danger. When Tank and Lamont Roach finally square off on March 1st at the Barclays Center, it won't just be another fight. It'll be a showdown between two men who know each other well. And in boxing, that kind of familiarity can change everything. Porter, who knows the fight game inside and out, believes this bout will be a lot closer than most people expect. Roach might be the underdog, but he isn't walking in blind. According to Porter, Roach's history with Tank, both as a former amateur opponent and a fighter who has shared training camps, could make all the difference in how this fight plays out.
The fact that Lamont Roach is as familiar with Tank Davis as he is, it goes beyond them fighting in the amateurs. They've spent time in camp together. He's been around Tank. He's seen Tank up close and personal, whether he's in the ring with them or not.
The fact that Lamont Roach knows Tank Davis as well as he does goes beyond their amateur bout, Porter explained to Fight Hub TV. They've spent time in camp together. He's been around Tank. He's seen him up close and personal, whether he's in the ring with him or not. That matters. And Porter is absolutely right. Being around Tank Davis isn't just about seeing him fight. It's about understanding his rhythm, his speed, his setups, and, most importantly, his devastating power. In the ring, there's always a moment of shock, a split second when a fighter gets caught clean by Davis. It's in that moment that everything slows down and reality hits hard. That exact moment has ended fights for 28 of the 30 opponents Tank has beaten. But for Roach, Porter believes that moment won't come as a shock. It won't be one of those "what just happened" situations. When you know a guy's rhythm, when you know their speed, when you know what they're thinking, that changes everything, Porter said. That's a statement with serious weight. Most fighters who step into the ring with Davis aren't prepared for the way he blends speed and power. It's not just overwhelming, it's paralyzing. Tank isn't just a hard hitter. He's precise, patient, and explosive all at once. That's exactly why so many of his stoppages happen in the later rounds. By the time his opponents realize what's happening, their bodies are drained, their minds are foggy, and their chances of survival are already slipping away. At that point, it's too late. But Porter believes Roach's experience changes the script. He's been hit before. He's seen Davis before. And when you've already felt that power, the fear factor isn't the same. This might be a fight until he gets hit again and again, Porter said. He's tasted that before, so if he takes the shot and doesn't go away, we've got a real fight on our hands. I think it's a good fight.
We fought twice in the same tournament. So, yeah, and we fought in the Junior Olympics, in the regionals, and we fought in the nationals.
Porter's words carry real weight here. There's something to be said about a fighter who has already faced power and kept moving forward. Most of Davis's opponents crumble after feeling his punches. They've never experienced anything like it and have no idea how to respond. But Roach? He's been through wars before, and Porter believes that gives him a unique edge. It's also important to recognize where Roach stands coming into this fight. His 25-1 record might not jump off the page, but it's misleading. Since his only loss to Jamal Herring in 2019, a fight where he battled hard until the final bell, Roach has evolved into a more complete fighter. That loss was a lesson, and for fighters hungry enough to learn, setbacks only make them stronger. Since then, Roach has put together 6 straight wins, including a world title victory over Hector Luis Garcia and a successful defense against Fergal McCrory.
You understand? Because Roach he come to fight. I mean, I think it's a great fight. Everybody talking all that stuff about, why Roach? Because he signed and took the fight. You know what I'm saying? And it's good for the community.
But here's the thing. None of those opponents were Tank Davis. None of those fights were against a man who has built his career on breaking fighters down and dismantling them piece by piece. That's where the conversation shifts back to Davis, whose record speaks for itself. 30-0, with 28 knockouts. Tank's most recent fight, an 8th-round knockout of Frank Martin in June, was a reminder of why he's one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport. Martin wasn't just another challenger. He was an undefeated lightweight contender, a fighter many believed had the skills to push Davis. Instead, Martin ended up face down on the canvas, another victim of Davis's crushing power and razor-sharp timing.
He's definitely going to, whenever these motherfuckers, like, from a lower stage, they always going to put their A game when they come up to this stage. First time. Lamont, he got like 9 knockouts.
But he lost to Jamal Herring.
Porter doesn't downplay Davis's strengths for a second, but he stands firm on the idea that Roach won't be stepping in blind. This won't be a deer-in-the-headlights situation. We'll see, Porter said. Like I said, when you've tasted that before and you know what it feels like, what it looks like, and all that kind of stuff, it's much different from it being your first time getting hit with that kind of power. What Porter is getting at is simple. Experience changes everything. Preparing for Tank Davis on paper or through sparring is one thing, but having first-hand knowledge of what he brings to the ring is another. Roach's time around Davis, whether in the amateurs or in shared training camps, gives him an understanding that most of Tank's opponents never had. And according to Porter, that could make all the difference.
The thing that I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog. What he just said, you can put them earmuffs up and go at it. Mm-hmm. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do it, so.
Right. And the thing I really appreciate about Tank is he's a dog, Porter continued. You can put the earmuffs on and go at it, but he also assesses situations well. Whatever he needs to do, he'll do it. Your first time seeing that kind of speed and the overall makeup of a Tank Davis is surprising to most fighters. It won't be surprising to Lamont Roach. That's a strong statement. Tank has a habit of shocking opponents in the ring. They prepare for his power, they think they know what to expect, then they get hit hard. Game plans unravel, confidence cracks. But Porter doesn't see that happening with Roach, at least not right away. Of course, none of this changes the fact that Davis is the favorite for a reason. Tank isn't just a puncher, he's a technician. He sets traps, controls distance with precision, and lands shots with pinpoint accuracy. His power isn't reckless, it's calculated. And once he finds his rhythm, the fight usually ends soon after.
How your balance felt like?
Roach will need more than just familiarity to pull off the upset, but Porter's point is clear: familiarity matters. It gives Roach confidence and removes the shock factor that has unraveled so many fighters before him. This fight isn't as one-sided as people might think. Porter's words seem to hint at something without saying it outright. He sees a real battle. He sees a fight that could surprise people. If Roach can hold his ground, take Davis's best shots, and stay in the fight long enough to let his own skills shine, things could get interesting. It's not about predicting a Roach victory or a Davis loss. It's about acknowledging that this fight has the potential to be more competitive than expected. And for Shawn Porter, a man who has shared the ring with some of boxing's biggest names, that's a fight worth watching.
What?
Who said that? You said
My
what?
man over
You
there
said
said
what?
bet.
Yeah, that's why I've been waiting for the niggas to talk. How much you want back? How much you want back? Because I can't.
However, the 30-year-old Davis is no longer the hungry 19-year-old kid people met a decade ago. Now, he's a star, a household name, and yet, he's contemplating stepping away. For Davis, the word retirement rolled off his tongue naturally, as if it had been lingering in his mind for some time. Whether it's a permanent decision or just a much-needed break, one thing is clear: boxing has consumed his life for long enough. Am I missing it? Or is it probably about time for me to slow down my life? Davis questioned after the press conference for his upcoming fight against Lamont Roach Jr. I've been living at a fast pace for so long. It's about time for me to slow down and better myself in a way other than boxing. If I can take this break and better myself as a person, as a father, as a brother, fix myself as a whole, I should do that.
Would you consider you and Gervonta friends?
Friends, probably.
Is it going to be hard to go in the ring and fight your friend?
Not at all.
Are you all going to be friends after?
Yeah, why not?
Either way it goes.
Both making money.
But you guys are making each other bleed.
Hopefully I just make him bleed.
It's rare to hear a fighter openly admit that something deeper is pulling them away. Most boxers keep going until their bodies refuse to cooperate, driven by ego, money, or the relentless addiction to competition. But Davis sounds different. He doesn't just want to slow down. He needs to. For Davis, this isn't just about stepping away from the physical grind of boxing. It's about stepping toward becoming a better version of himself outside of it. Earlier this week, at a press conference, he brought up therapy, a surprising but refreshing admission from a fighter whose tough exterior has shaped his identity both in and out of the ring. He went on to explain how he arrived at this turning point.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to go. Tank going to be losing the first 3 rounds. Then he's going to download the data. Then he going to knock this dude out in round 7 or 8. Then he going to do the backflip. Then Jim Gray's going to get in the ring, or Caleb Plant's Hawaii, and say, who do you want next? And Tank's going to say, I want all those guys. And they're going to go to the press conference, and Elliot Setback's going to say, who do you want next? He say, I want all the guys.
It's stuff that I catch myself doing, Davis admitted. I would do it, then go back and correct myself. I'd think, if I didn't have this in me, it wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have snapped. If I didn't have that mean side in me, or if I could handle it in a better way than the way I did. It's a moment of raw honesty, revealing a man at war with himself. Davis understands that his anger fuels him inside the ring, that it drives him to fight. But at the same time, he can't shake the feeling that this very process is holding him back from growing as a person.
That's why I don't want to box no more. I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me where so I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry, you know what I mean? Because I have 2 girls, 2 daughters. I'm wanting to be...
I still have to build myself up and be angry to fight, Davis admitted. That's like contradicting myself. That anger, that fire, stems from his past. A past he has spent most of his adult life trying to leave behind. Davis didn't shy away from that truth. Being betrayed, everything I've been through, he said. That's me now just trying to separate myself from it. I'm trying to move further and further away from where I come from. And where he comes from isn't something most people can truly understand. It's a story he first shared back in 2014, a childhood filled with struggles, instability, and loss. He was just 7 years old when he first laced up boxing gloves, and by 8, he was already competing. For Davis, fighting wasn't just a sport, it was survival. I come from a dark background. I was in foster care and group homes because my mom was on substances, Davis once shared. So my grandma got me back from foster care. I started school. I was in a new neighborhood. I was the new kid on the block. And I was light-skinned and short, so I had to fight a lot. I had to fight at school. I had to fight on the block. One day, his uncle saw him fighting and decided to turn that aggression into something positive. He took me to the gym, Davis recalled. That moment changed everything.
Come on.
The gym saved Gervonta Davis. It gave him an outlet, discipline, and a sense of purpose. I could have been in jail. I could have been dead, he once admitted. Instead, boxing became his escape from the streets, leading him to a life that few from his neighborhood ever get to experience. But now, Davis feels like the same sport that saved him is holding him back. I feel as if I can get better. I can see it, he said. I can see that I could become a better person, but it's not there yet. The person I can become, I can see it. But this is holding me up from getting that. The irony is clear. The very thing that saved him as a child is now something he feels he must leave behind to truly save himself as an adult.
Tank and Lamont Roach. Is that the right opponent for Tank?
I don't know why everybody is kind of sleeping on Lamont, but he has a decorated amateur career too. He's a very sturdy kid. He's very skilled. Tank is Tank, you know. And when I say Tank is Tank, I mean like he's a bad man. He can fight. He's tough.
Davis's life has been anything but smooth. He's faced legal troubles, including high-profile domestic incidents, and has lived under a constant public spotlight that magnified his flaws. But this moment, this reflection, feels different. It feels like a step in the right direction. He's not running from responsibility. He's acknowledging that he's human, that he needs help, and that he genuinely wants to be better. But first, he has one more task at hand, knocking out Lamont Roach. Do you see it happening? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates.